Hello guys, and welcome to my Conquest tutorial. I'm going to be taking you through the minigame Conquest. So once you arrive at Pest Control, it's fairly easy to get to. You can either teleport to Valley and run to Port Sarim and travel with the Squire to get to Pest Control, or you can use your Cabbage Port Telly on an Explorer's Ring and just run south from the Cabbage Port straight to the Squire, travel again to Pest Control. Once you get here, you're going to want to go over to this building to the east, which has the little minigame logo. This is the Conquest Centre. Once inside there, you're going to have to talk to one of these two people, and they're going to take you through a tutorial that will give you a rough rundown on how to play the game, as well as what the individual commands are. But I'm just going to be here to reiterate that, and I'll take you through a game just to get a rundown on the gameplay. So once you've done the tutorial, you want to go to this night here, and you can recruit troops. Each troop has a individual cost. For instance, a scout costs 25, a mage costs 100, a foot soldier costs 50, a knight costs 100, a halberdier costs 75, and so on and so forth. You can compare them to the prices that you've already got. As you can see here, it says 25 to 50. That's showing you the price of the scout compared to the price of the foot soldier and how much you'll need to get to it. Also, it will show you things like how many movements you'll lose from changing to, say, a foot soldier. It will also show you if there's any health or damage bonuses that are higher than the troop you're already using. You buy your troops by using squad resources. These change if you, as you can see, I can now buy something worth 50 squad resources, or I could use it in select commands, but I'll get to that in a sec. So your setup at the moment won't look like this if this is the very first time you started playing Conquest. It will have its own unique setup that the game puts there. It's like a little template. You can either use that as it's a fairly good setup, however it's weak in certain places. Sometimes you need to overload your team with, say, runners if you want a quick and fast dynamic fight. I mean, if you want to throw all your scouts at him and like hope that the scouts are going to do a fair bit of damage before you start sending in your heavier waves, this sort of tactic works. I would suggest using my setup just to get a comfy sort of grip on the game. It's an easy setup using these commands that come in handy, and I win a fair amount of the time. We'll see how I go in the fight that I have down there. These are your select commands. Again, they're a lot like when you select troops. You can take them away, and they have individual scores. If you just run your cursor over it in the top box, this bit here, it gives you a breakdown on what the attack does, or the command does, sorry, and it tells you how long it is before you can use the command again. That's what cooldown means. It just means when I activate this, I've got to wait 3 turns before I can use it again, and how many command points it's going to cost in the game. So if I haven't got 50 command points, you won't be able to use it, as you'll see later on. So again, I would probably, if you're a beginner, choose to use this setup, because you'll see someone using it and it will give you a fair idea of how to use this setup in a fight situation. Once you've recruited them, you want to set the formation. Now, some people box them all up into the corner, but that has weaknesses, the same as there's weaknesses in putting all your troops like I have in the middle. However, what I would suggest you do is put your scouts first, because they're your runners. They're the ones that you want to like throw at your enemy first sometimes, or you want them to scout on ahead, just to create a few problems, stop their rangers advancing or stop their mages advancing. They're very good for that. And then put your higher troops behind. They will be lined up down the side, and each letter corresponds to the type of troop you're using. For instance, in my setup, a scout's an S, a knight's a K, a halberdier a H, champion C. You know, you get the drift. You can set them up, you can move them to wherever you like, but this is my setup. Again, use this setup if you'd like. just to get a hang of the game. As I said before, you'll see me playing and using this up, and it will give you an idea of how to start with the game. Once you've got a fair understanding of how to play it, switch it around, find out what works best for you. Everybody's got different tactics that they use in this, but sometimes you need some sort of base tactics just to work off of, and my setup is quite strong. Okay, I'll just quickly show you, this is what you're aiming for. You can either aim for experience that you can trade 100 ticket commendations, 10 or 100, 1, 10 or 100, sorry, and they're worth set amounts. That's if you want to trade it for XP. Or there's the melee gear, and I'll put a little thing to the side here showing you the melee stats and bonuses from wearing void. And then there's consumables. There's things like herb packs, mineral packs, seed packs. Well, you can read them yourself. They're things that help, you know, you'd be doing farming and hope for some high seeds, or herb lore, want some good herbs. Same with if you're doing smithing, that's what the mineral pack's there for. These are the charms. They're, you know, useful, I suppose, if you're doing summoning. I'm not sure on the XP, so it is dependent on what you want to do with the prizes. Okay, once you've set everything up, you can come downstairs. You can set everything up down here as well. As you can see, there's the blackboard for formation on the right. Well, I mean, if you're facing it this way. This one is your formation. This one is your recruits. So it's a lot like how it was upstairs. It just means you can change it down here without having to constantly run upstairs. Yeah, my conquest is kind of low. I do tend to give out a lot of free wins. I'm not a fan of the deflector, and I can't be bothered getting it. So you've got one of two choices once you come down into this little bit. You can either go into the auto matching area where it will pair you up with anybody else who's in the room, or you can come in here, which is the challenge area. This is the best place because then you can set the fight to your rules. The only rules you can really set is the time. So let's find someone. I prefer to have quick fights, so I'm going to be looking for a 30-second round time, just to see if anyone wants to quickly fight. If not, as you can see, all you've got to do is right click them as if you was trading them, and set the challenges. Right, once you're in, to move around the block, all you've got to do is put your cursor somewhere on the screen. So if you want to move left, put it over in the left side. You can move it up into the corners as well. Always come over and check their troops. So for instance, he's using 2 champions, a mage, a ranger, and a mage, with halberdier on the right. It's a strong setup. They're all piled in the middle, so we'll see how we go. I choose to move my troops up, so if I was you, I'd sit back and I'll just give you a few tips on how to play. I do suggest you play in resizable. It helps a lot. It makes the battlefield seem easier to see, and you can change that just by coming into here and clicking resizable. Always watch your time up in the top. Right now it's my opponent's turn, so I don't have to worry. And then I can just move around to come closer to the fights. Always count. For instance, details on my scat, it has a movement of 6. Count your blocks. 2, 4, 6. I can attack his mage. So you always want to get rid of your scats for a mage. The reason why, that scat is like a pawn in chess. It's worth 25 pieces. I've just killed his mage and earned myself 100 command points, which are located here. They're for your power-ups, etc. I'll start laying some combos down in a minute, don't worry. Halberdiers are able to hit anywhere over, a bit like how a halberd would work if you're fighting a black demon or something. It can hit from a distance. They're easy to take down with, say, a ranger or a mage. so they're not that much of a problem. I'm just going to come over here and end my turn. You can automatically end some people sit back. I don't prefer that tactic. I find it's a bit dirty. It's not a good tactic. I suppose it works, but I don't like it. So now he's going to move his halberd further forward. Remember that each turn you go, you're going to get 25 command points. So for each turn you play, you receive 25 command points. When you get a kill, you get their value that you would have bought them for in command points. So now I'm just going to quickly use charge, so it moves me up. Put battle cry on. Battle cry adds 200 extra damage and 200 extra health. And I've put vigilance on as well. This is because now it's like if he hits me with something, I'm going to hit him first. So even if his champion comes over and decides to hit me, he will one-hit me, but I'll at least get 300 damage in first, so it causes damage to his champion. And what I'm going to say is, if I am confusing you, don't worry. If you're completely and utterly confused and you've got some questions, I'll be happy if you just put them down in the comments section, and I'll be happy to get back to you and answer any questions that you may have, so don't worry about that. So here we go, he's going to attack it. I hit him for a 300 first, and now he's going to kill my scout. So already I've only sacrificed 50 points, but I've already claimed 175 out of his troops. Now I'm going to move a ranger up, because they have an area of 6 that they can attack, so they're really good for getting in and trying to attack their players from a distance. Oh, forgot to end turn, sorry. Chastise is great, because when you get them close to you, if you hold them down, hold them in position, you screw them over. I'm about to show you that now. So I'm going to hold him down and move my ranger up. Actually, I'm going to move a scout up because I know he's got command points, so he could use charge on his mage and run forward at me, and I don't quite fancy risking 100 points from my archer when I can send a scout up to do the job just as well. We'll see what he uses. So he's going to use his mage now. He's brought his mage forward. So now I have 2 options with my scout. Well, I had 2 options with my scout. I could have chose to attack either one of them. He's used stoicism, or however you say it. I'm not too clear on it, but that means he gets 400 extra health. It's pointless to attack him right now. If you can, just avoid him. I'm going to move my ranger up. 2, 4, 6, no, I'm going to move my scout up because I don't want to risk my ranger so early on in the fight. Vigilance is no good right now because if they attack you from a distance, you can't hit them anyway. They have to be standing next to you in the direct square away from you for vigilance to work. So at the moment, it's not of much help. As you can see, I've got him in almost sort of a check move. If he wants to take my scout, he's going to be taken by my other scout. So like so, I'll show you. He's just taken my scout. So now I'm going to choose to take his ranger, only because rangers can cause more damage if they're left with, say, a champion at the end of the fight. A mage, it's not so. They only have 4 movement and a maximum of, I think it's 200 damage. Yeah, 200 damage. So even if they use battle cry, they'll only get an extra 200 damage. It's no sweat.